What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, Arrows. I love card games, and I love talking about card games, so we're going to talk about card games today. We're, of course, on our Lorcana grind, talking about set 13, Attack of the Vine. You can see it down there, Attack of the Vine. The vines are attacking. We have to defend from the vines. We've already covered Amber. That one will be in the description below for you guys. Today, we are going to talk about Emerald. And Emerald, I think, is another really strong color in this set. They get a lot of cool things. This is also the other half of Toys, which I think is going to be strongest deck of this format is Dogs. It is Dogs, but better. So yeah, we're going to talk about Emerald, and we're going to post up a video talking about my Amber Toy deck that I'm going to be working on in this next set. I'm also really excited. There's a lot of really good a lot of really good potential decks in this set, such as Floodborn. We talked about Floodborn a little bit in our Amber video. Turning Red, I think that's going to be a really cool deck with Powerline. Really interested to see how that plays out. Then and of course Honey. Honey is going to be really, really cool to see. But let's get into the Emerald video right now, starting with Carl Fredrickson. He's a 1-cost, 1/2 quest for 1, loving husband. Take my hand. When you play this character, you pay 2 less for the next character named Ellie Fredrickson you play this turn. Really cute. Up makes its debut, Attack of the Vine, and it's opening up with a really cute card. I like that. I mean, also, if the Ellie is really, really good, then this card's just alrighty. So then we have Rue, the Honey Rogue. Now, Honey is the other new archetype we talked about. Not new archetype, because we had the Honey Wizard. But it is a new archetype that we talked about in the Amber video. The Christopher Robin sits as a Amethyst Sapphire card. However, it has the card text and ability that you can play Honey characters of any ink variety in your deck. Amber has Kanga and Rabbit, and Emerald has Rue. Rue is the Honey Rogue. He is a 1-cost uninkable 1/1. Ward. While you have another Honey character in play, this character gains Evasive. This isn't terrible. I mean, it's uninkable, which always sucks, but this isn't terrible. It has Ward, so your opponent's not going to be able to take him out with card effects. And he gets Evasive when you have another Honey character in play. And guess what? Surprise, the deck is all Honey characters. So I think this card has a ton of potential in the Honey deck. I don't think it's very good in other decks. Unless you can incorporate a small Honey engine into other decks, into other green insert color here decks, I don't see this being played in anything else other than Honey. But in Honey, this is a really strong card. Then we have Minnie Mouse, Curious Adventure, 2/2, quest for 1. It's kind of out there that there is a Mickey and Minnie tag team this set, so that's a really good shift target for that. Then we have Rapunzel, Escaping the Tower, which is also going to be our set championship card. So we're going to look at this one because it's much prettier. 1-cost, 2/1. The Call of Adventure. Once during your turn, you may discard a card to give this character +1 lore and evasive until the start of your next turn. There is also a character, there's also a theme in here of cards that activate effects in graveyard when you discard them. We'll talk about them when we get to them, but I think the cards that discard cards from your hand are really good. And this is no exception. Giving a 1-cost, 2 lore and evasive is really good. And also, look at that. That's such a good. I'm 100% playing. Then we have Ellie Fredrickson. She is a 2-cost, 2/2. But remember, when you play this character, you can play her for free, which is really cool. So you have both in hand. You can play them both on your turn 1. And then when you play a location, gain 1 lore. Up seems to be about locations, so this would be really cool, like the goofy character that lets you move characters' location moves. Really interesting ideas. This on its own is a really good card. You play a location, gain a lore. And you can play it for free with Carl, which is really good. Next, we have our next Honey character, and this one makes me a little sad because Cook isn't actually a D&D class, but whatever. Moving on. Maybe in the 100 Acre Woods when they play D&D, it is a class. Gopher is a 2-cost, 2/2. Uninkable, quest for 1. Um, this character may enter play exerted. During an opponent's turn where this character is exerted, your other honey characters gain resist 1. This works really well in contingent with Rabbit. Rabbit we covered yesterday was a 2/5 with Bodyguard. So having this and Gopher on the field gives that Rabbit just a little bit more life to be able to do more stuff and take more hits, allowing your other honey characters to be pretty strongly protected. So this is, again, another card. It's pretty good in honey, not so much anything else. Russell, Junior Wilderness Explorer, is a 3/2 for 2 inkable, quest for 1, assisting the elderly badge. Whenever this character quests, you may move him and one of your other characters to the same location for free. Again, up is very location based. We've seen the movie. This actually is pretty on point with that. I like this. I like when locations get strong theme cards because it makes playing locations much more appealing. This is a really good piece to that puzzle. Then we have a new Aladdin. This Aladdin is a 2-cost, 3/2 quest for 1, and he is doing his part. When you play this character, you may pay 1 to banish chosen item. This is okay. It's not good. There are much better there are much better ways to get rid of items than this, and which sucks because I really like Aladdin. Aladdin's my favorite Disney movie, and this is just not that good of a card. And to start off, he can't be your 2-cost drop. So if he's the only 2-cost you have in hand, his effect is kind of pointless. You have to play him on turn 3 or later, which is kind of meh. There are better options on almost every deck than this. Next, we have Madam Mim. Madam Mim is a 2-cost 1/1. She's evasive, and all cards in your hand count as having ink. This is really good. Emerald especially has a problem where a lot of its good cards are uninkable, so you end up with a deck that is like all uninkables. This would be insanely silly in toys, because everything in your hand would be inkable. And then we have Kevin. Kevin also gets an epic. Look at that. Look at that face. Look at that face. Kevin is the Flightless Bird. He's a 2-cost 1/3 quest for 3. Whenever this character quests, put this card on top of your deck. This is a really interesting little interaction with the toy build if you wanted to do this, because you put them on top of your deck, you quest with Woody, Jungle Guide, no, that's a bad interaction. You put them on top of your deck, on your next turn, you quest with Woody, you play him for free. Pretty neat things. My brain just melted there when I started trying to say that. Pretty neat interaction. And honestly, he's a quest for 3 with a solid body. Who cares if he leaves the field when he quests? This is a really interesting card. I'm honestly surprised it wasn't a rare. Then we have Copper, the Creative Storyteller. He's a 2-cost 2/2 quest for 2. It's a pretty solid card. Vanilla is whatever. It's hero, so you can do cool things in like blue if you do, or steel with Phil. But he's a 2/2. That quest for 2. This is pretty solid. Then we have a new Mother Gothel. 2-cost 3/3 uninkable quest for 1. During your turn, when you discard this card, you may play this character from your discard. You pay all the costs. This is the thing. This is the thing that I have, and maybe there are better players out there better than me who can like really talk to me about how this is. Like, you're still paying all the costs, and you're not getting extra effects if you play it out of the discard. So why would I discard this card over just discarding another uninkable that I have in my hand that I don't really want to play? To get these, if you discard a card, gain these effects. Like, I just don't understand. And hopefully, there's somebody out there who can help me understand. I greatly appreciate it, but I just don't see the point. Like, don't get me wrong, the cards that do the discarding, fantastic. But the cards that get the effects, have these effects that you can play them from your discard when you discard them, they're kind of meh. So they don't do anything differently from being in the discard. So why would I play them? Anyway, moving on. Next, we have Buzz Lightyear, grounded, 3-cost, 4/4. Quest for 1, cannot gain evasive. This is okay. It's not playable. We have Todd. Clever Fox, when it's a 3-cost, 1/2, quest for 1. Problem solving, when you play this character, draw 2 cards and choose and discard 1. This is pretty cool because then you can shift it into the Big Todd on your next turn. This is a really, I like this card. The picture's really fun. I think this is a pretty solid card. I don't really know if it's like core constructed solid, but it'd be really good in like your pack rushes. Next, we have our next Floodborn character, Peter Pan, created by the Vine. Now, all these Floodborns are created by the Vine. Peter Pan has a cool epic. This is a 3-cost, uninkable, 1/3, quest for 2. Clever trick. Whenever one of your Floodborn characters is challenged, the challenging player chooses and discards a card. Makes a really interesting discard mechanic for your Floodborn characters. Pretty solid card. I don't really know what colors you want to build Floodborn in. Well, I'll probably be one of the last decks we go over on here on the channel after we've reviewed everything and had a good look at all of the Floodborns. But I think this card is pretty neat. He's a 3-cost, a quest for 2. He's uninkable, which is always meh, but not terrible. We have the legendary for Emerald. It is Mushu. A Mushu is a 3-cost, 3/2, quest for 1. Has that makes sense now with the Amber cards. Anyway, going forward. Whenever this character quests, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you, you may draw a card. So in the Amber profile, there was a couple of cards. I believe it was I never remember the girl from Turning Red, but a Jasmine that let your opponents draw cards. This honestly makes a lot more sense now because you play with this Mushu, your opponent has more cards than you, you draw a card. So I'm still not a huge fan of the idea of giving your opponent extra resources to use against you, but this gives you extra resources yourself, which I think is pretty neat. I don't know if it's horribly playable, but I think it's got a cool picture. It's a really cool picture. It doesn't have an enchanted for some reason, but it's got a really good picture, and I think that's pretty cool. And I think, you know what, now that I've seen this with those effects that let your opponent draw cards, I could see something being there. Perhaps. Next, we have a new Buzz Lightyear. This one's not as good as the Woody. Buzz is very item-based, action-based, which I don't think is how you want to play your toy deck. I think this could be good in the deck that runs a lot of actions, but I don't think it's good for the toy deck. So it's a 4-cost, uninkable, 4/2, quest for 2. Play this character, choose one of the following. If you have another toy character in play, choose both instead. You may return an action card with cost 2 or less from your discard to your hand. You may play an action with 2 or less of cost 2 or less for free. Maybe like a one-of to have another shift target into the Buzz and Woody, but I don't know. I think the Woody's better because it's going to spam your field. This could get you the songs that let you search for characters, but honestly, I don't think it is a good play. This can get you a Delamoon's Lullaby, which is really cool, but again, I don't really think that's like something that's something that's like super worth. Next, we have another Rapunzel. She is a 4-cost, a 3/3, a quest for 1. Inkable. When you play this character, you may choose and discard a card. If you do, return chosen character to their player's hand. This is another good card. Again, I like the idea of being able to discard cards to have effects. This is another really good one. Bouncing chosen characters. There's some characters that could be a problem that you can't get through. But again, you don't want to be banishing certain characters. Back to their hand. But this is a pretty solid card, and I like the picture. And I like Rapunzel, so a win-win-win. But again, my issue is more so with the cards to discard. I wish that they had a different effect if you discarded them. That is like my biggest gripe with that theme, I think. Next, we have Todd and Copper, which has this beautiful, beautiful enchanted. It is a shift 2, so you can shift it on top of a character's name, Todd or Copper. It's a 3/3 with evasive and a quest for 2. This is decent. A cute card. I don't think it's horribly playable, but I would love to be proven wrong because I think it is adorable. Also, it's a puppy with no end. Next, we have Russell, Senior Wilderness Explorer. Russell is a 5-cost, a 3/5, quest for 1. Shift 3, which is really cool. Your characters at locations get +1 strength. And then whenever one of your characters with 4 or more quests, gain 1 lore. This is a pretty solid card. If you have a character there, like that's questing for a lot, and you give them 4 lore, they're questing for a lot more, which is kind of insane. I like this card. I think it's got potential. And next we have Dr. Bushroot, Evil Botanist. He's a 5-cost 4/3 quest for 3. Has ward. Whenever this character is challenged, each opponent chooses and discards a card. I don't. Discarding is fun, but I think characters that discard on challenge are kind of bad. Like, it was really great in set 1 with Flynn Rider when we didn't have like a ton of great removal options. But I think now in set 13, it's just not as strong, and that really sucks. I think it's a really neat idea, but it's just not as strong as we've gotten more cards to work. Next, we have Winifred, Exasperating Elephant. He is so exasperating. 6 cost, 6/6 quest for 2, has ward. Again, this is really good, strong for your pack rushes and your pre-releases. Not so good in constructed. Next, we have Thetis, the Mighty Serpent. It's a 6 cost, 6/7 quest for 2. Again, another one of these great cards for your pack rush, your pre-release. Draft, not so much for that. We have Posey. Posey's an interesting card. The 7 cost, 7/8 quest for 2, but you can shift her for 5 onto your item named Potato. This could be interesting. I think this kind of has potential to be pretty good. I mean, she's a 7/8 that you can play on 5 on an item. It's harder to get rid of items in this game than it is to get rid of characters. So I could see this being a neat little thing. Going into our actions, we have Scout Ahead. For a 1 cost, if your opponent has more lore than you, gain 2 lore. This actually makes that Evil Queen from Wilds Unknown that much better, because you're going to give your opponent more lore than you, and then you're going to gain 2 lore for a cost of 1. This is a pretty interestingly solid card. I like this card a lot. Also, that picture's kind of bad. Then we have Piercing Attack. This is really cool. This is going to be, I think this is going to see a lot of play with Merida from Wilds Unknown, because the 2 cost action deals 2 damage to chosen character. This damage can't be reduced by resist, which is really neat. So you're going to do 2 damage to something, won't be able to resist it, and then if they don't have resist, they're taking 1 from Merida. That damage will be resisted, but this is just a really cool. Going into our songs, we have To Wither a Flower. 4 cost action song. Deal 2 damage to each opposing damaged character. This is pretty good with what's it called? Malicious, Mean, and Scary, because you can play it, put 1 damage counter on each character, and then play this, sing this, deal 2 damage to each opposing damaged character. With Merida on the field, that's going to do an additional 3 damage to each opposing, 2 damage to each opposing characters. That's a lot of damage for a minimal investment, which I think is pretty cool. Then we have Potato. Full of potential. This item enters play exerted. This is just a silly gimmick. I love it. My Adventure Book is a 3 cost inkable item. New memories, tap it and pay 1, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a non-character card or a character card named Kevin, put it into your hand. Otherwise, put it on top of your deck. Pretty cool. Get your Kevin back, or get a location, which is pretty solid. We have Vine Pod. This enters play exerted. It's an uninkable. And then regenerate, you can tap it and pay 1, banish chosen character of yours. You may play a character with the same name as that character for free. That is a pretty solid card, actually. It's uninkable, which is kind of meh. But it's really cool to just it's really cool to activate, enter the field effects, which is really cool. And then our 1 location is Paradise Falls. 2 cost, 4 cost, 2 to move, 7 shield. When you have a character here, this location gets +3. That is kind of insane. Yeah, that is Emerald. I tried to make this a little bit shorter than Amber because Amber went a bit long. I think I think this has a lot of really good potential. I think location-based up decks are going to be pretty cool. I like the characters that discard the cards to gain effects. The cards that are discarded are kind of meh so far. If there are players out there that are more knowledgeable than I, probably a lot of you, let me know what you guys think about that theme in particular. I think Kevin is freaking amazing. The honey stuff is pretty cool. The emerald helpings of toys aren't that great, but I think this card could be insanely good, and I'm really excited to see what people do with it. So that is our emerald. That is our amber emerald helping. Also, another thing about it, I'm probably going to post all the deck lists after we finish the set review because I'm going to do the what's it called? The dual inks last. But don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ding that notification button if you want to be alerted to when we post new content. If you don't, my co-ghost Gengar will be upset. Yeah, we're gonna see you guys again for more card content. We are doing all of Attack of the Vine. Honestly, it's looking like a pretty solid set so far. I'm very excited. But yeah, until the next one, my friends, I will see you when I see you. Go and play some card games because they're amazing. Now we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.